Okay, first of all, I have to mention this guy is going to be really hard to make videos with going forward because he just loves to go off the screen and just stand still for a second. Yo, what up, Toshi here. So when it comes to Argenti, I was wrong for the energy he gains in this kit. It counts as every single enemy hit on the field, meaning that this character is going to have a much easier time getting his ultimate. That is insane. So what that means is for many players, you're going to take advantage of things that boost your ultimate damage because that is going to yield the most damage for the character and is going to be something that is easy to relatively charge. Relatively easy to charge. I don't know why I said that backwards. And what that also means is any weapon or any type of relic set, planar set that boosts his ultimate damage is going to yield nice results on the character if you have those characters in combination, because you're always going to have your ultimate ready to go if you're using him in AoE situations. The third thing is this guy is broken. What the heck? He does so much damage to the point where I'm like, why does he not have as many caveats as a character like Jing? I don't want to go off the charts here and say power creep, but he definitely is a damage dealer that makes the erudition look like a more appealing path than it once was. So I will say that. The thing is about Argenti, characters like Ting Yun and Hoyo are going to provide better results than players that do not have those characters. So if you are using a character like Yukong and you're using another character like Hanya, you might have a hard-hitting Argenti, but you're not going to have a fast cycling Argenti when it comes to his ultimate. So characters that are able to directly give him energy and buff his damage at the same time, best of both worlds, is of course going to be really good for the character. So what makes Argenti comparable to some of the destruction characters is that his flaws aren't necessarily flaws. He's a flawless character. See what I did there? He gets energy whenever he hits an enemy with his elemental skill, ultimate, or basic attack. That means you're going to get energy constantly. If you have 5 enemies on the field, you're going to get 15 energy. You use your skill, 15 energy, ultimate, 15 energy. You're going to get energy constantly. This character will never have 0 energy. And then you increase your crit rate by 2.1%, which I'm guessing the apotheosis is every time you hit an enemy versus how many enemies you actually hit. I could be wrong here, but I'll have to test them out and see for myself. But this crit rate is extremely strong because that's a lot of crit rate you're getting for free. It's like Jinglu essentially having 50% crit rate for free in her kit. But the thing is about Argenti versus Jinglu is that his crit rate is going to be increased at all given points of the battle. It doesn't have a time duration like Jinglu. Now, while Argenti may not have one of the hardest hitting elemental skills in the game, he still is able to put out a bunch of damage with elemental skill because of the characters you'll be using alongside him. All those characters will buff his damage greatly, allowing him to hit pretty decently hard with his elemental skill against enemies that are way too physical. Now, the kicker is his ultimate. You always, most of the time, want to have the 180 charge because this is going to yield the most damage for the character. If you use the 90 energy first half of the ultimate, then you're not going to get that much. This is comparable to an elemental skill, right? Worth of damage, not really worth it. Whenever you do have 180 energy for the character, so the second half of his ultimate, you're going to get close to 1,000% in terms of damage for a multiplier. And if this is hitting one enemy, you're going to nuke enemies in single target settings. So he's not only good in single target, but he's good in AoE too. He essentially, really, as a damage dealer, does it all. So I'm kind of sitting here thinking to myself, he's a character that is really good in single target. He's a character that's really good in AoE. He's a character that's really good in blast. Where is this character not good? Well, I would say in those single target fights, he's not going to get energy as quickly as if he was in AoE settings. But he makes up for that because he's going to have more damage against that single enemy with his ultimate. So whenever he does have his ultimate, is going to provide more energy. So it's almost as if it doesn't matter where you bring the character. He's going to be a very strong damage dealer. Now, his light cone is extremely strong. 36% crit damage is amazing, and you get more damage for your ultimate depending on the amount of energy the character has in their kit, the max energy for the ultimate. He has up to 180, right? So this is tailor-made for the character. But there is amazing 4-star options in the game that is able to buff his ultimate that you don't need to roll for this one because there's already good options in the game. There's light cones that increases his attack and increases crit damage whenever he kills an enemy. And if you're using him in AoE settings, you're going to increase your crit rate and you're going to increase your crit damage and you'll have the passive at 100% uptime. This is pretty strong for the character. I mean, crit damage is always good for any damage dealer. But unlike the other light cone, you're not getting or you're not unlocking the second passive of the said light cone, which increases ultimate damage. And this light cone doesn't do that. But for free to play, or should I say low spinning players, this is a very strong light cone if you do have refinements on it. But the kicker here is Make the World Clamor, increasing his ultimate damage And for a character, as said previously, to who I thought was going to be a character that needed a lot of energy to be funneled towards him, I still do believe characters that do funnel energy towards him is going to be better than those that do not. But he essentially is able to have more uptime on that ultimate damage increase because he gets his ultimate faster than we previously thought, like way faster, making this a very strong light cone, and getting refinements on it is a game changer. Since Argenti is a character that's going to be using his ultimate a lot of the time, characters that are able to funnel energy towards him more in different various ways, such as quid pro quo for your abundance or defensive option characters, is going to yield nicer results because it gives energy to an ally that's going to be 50% and less energy. And considering that he needs 90 energy to meet that 50% threshold, this is going to be really good to have in a team with him. Worst come to worst, if your Ting Yun is the character that is below 50% for her energy, well, giving 16 energy to Ting Yun means that she's going to get her ultimate faster, and therefore give more energy to said damage deal, in this case Argenti. Characters like Bronya, who I will be using with Argenti if I get the character, will benefit from that energy as well because she has a very expensive ultimate and she gives crit damage and attack to the team. That makes her very good for a damage deal like Argenti. So I did say I was going to roll for Argenti, and I still am going to roll for the character. He seems really fun to play, he seems really strong, and I have all the tools to get the job done. One of the things I do want to mention about Argenti and future damage dealers is, as I said in previous videos, be careful because we are treading towards power creep for damage dealers. Supports more so, but damage dealers are starting to creep up even more with damage, and Argenti is the best example of that. So be careful going forward. It does help, however, having all these options to make him deal more damage, but again, tread with caution because there's no telling what damage dealers will do 6 months from now, right? A year from now. And that's not the worst thing in the world, but keep in mind that characters in this game are rather hard to get and hard to build. So yeah, be careful. And considering we're getting a new endgame content, Argenti is looking to become an even stronger damage dealer or provide more value for accounts overall. So for those of you that are looking for another character, another damage dealer, because maybe you have one or maybe you have a damage dealer that is outdated right now, then Argenti is definitely a character that is pretty worth pulling because, well, he's going to clear all of the contents for you. It's not like characters in the game can't already do that, but he has an easier job doing so. So I'm not going to cover whether or not you should pull for Silverwolf or Argenti in today's video because now with Argenti out in the game, we can have a more in-depth video, so look forward to that in the coming week. But I will say that this is a very nice banner to roll on regardless of who you go for. There is amazing 4-star characters, right? Asta becomes an amazing option with Eidolons. And even though we are getting Ruan May in the near future, using these two characters together will be very nice for some teams. Lynx is a very nice character for players that are free to play and players that are looking to have the low investment on a quantum team. A very strong 4-star at that. Hanya is a really strong Harmony character. She gives skill points to the team. She is a very nice character to use with Planetary Rendezvous in conjunction with Argenti in case you don't have Bronya on your account or you don't have Bronya with Eidolons and Lycone investment. And she's a character that is just good for dual DPS teams because she gives skill points, making her very good for those teams until we get another character that comes in the near future. Some of you know, some of you don't know. You'll know very soon. So I'm definitely going to be rolling for Argenti, and I cannot wait until I get my hands on this character. One of the things I also want to mention is that he actually may work with Kafka in a break team because he is an AoE damage dealer. He gets energy relatively quickly, more quickly than we had previously thought, and he works well with a character that already does AoE detonation with her ultimate. So these two characters in conjunction really probably will work really well together. You just have to be mindful of your skill point usage, and I would say a character like Hanya probably benefits that team for you. And if you want to do that, go for it because that still works. You can use Ting Yun instead of Hanya. It's just that Hanya just gives more damage to the team overall versus a character like Ting Yun that gives more energy, more damage, and more damage amplification to a soul damage dealer. So there you have it. Now, as you all know, I'm not in a test server for Honkai Star Rail. I'm not in a media server or whatever you want to call it. So me having videos out ready to go for you is very unrealistic, right? I don't have an account on the Asia server, so it's really hard to get characters on my account. And again, I don't really get any resources from Hoyoverse, so therefore I have to kind of come up with these videos on my own and get them done in a timely manner. So all the support you guys provide for me is very appreciated. I really do appreciate every single one of you. With that being said, Argenti is a character that definitely has the stamp of approval for whether or not you should roll for him, but we're going to have that dedicated video in the coming week as I get my hands on this character. Pause. I don't know why I didn't pause the first time when I said that, because it sounds a little weird the more I think about it. That's the video here. Thank you for watching, and have a nice rest of your day. Good luck with your pulls. You have not pulled yet, and don't spin too much. Remember, it's just a game after all. Peace.